Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Pick and Roll, your morning show right here on the Board YouTube channel, part of the Hammer Betting Network. And today we have a pretty nice NBA slate to work with, 10 games on the board. And for the show today, there are 3 free picks on the way for you guys. So if you're excited for these bets, you've been tailing so far for the winning week, make sure to hit that like button, drive us up in that YouTube algorithm. And still try to get to 50 likes today. And please make sure you're subscribed to the Board YouTube channel to keep up to date with all the content we have coming your way each and every weekday morning right here with myself, Jacob, and my co-host over here in Pips. So how the show works, we're going to give out the free picks for you guys. If you want to ensure you're getting the best possible price, you can tail right away, but Pips will go through the handicap and analysis of all 3 of these plays after the fact if you do want to wait and decide afterwards. We're going to go through the recap of yesterday's bet, then any discussion pieces that may follow. So with that, let's get into the free picks that we have for the show today. Starting off with another Trae Young SGP here as the Hawks host the Orlando Magic. It's minus 110 odds at DraftKings to get Trae Young under 12.5 assists and 25 plus points. So we'll see the handicap on that one in just a second here, but this one is better odds at ESPN Bet if it is available in your region. Second play that we have is in the Bucks and Cavaliers game. Cavaliers at home, and we're taking this minus 120 SGP at BetMGM. We're going to take Donovan Mitchell, 30 plus points, Damian Lillard, 20 plus points. And again, this one is also better odds at BetMGM, for ESPN Bet. The final play is available at FanDuel. It's a minus 118 SGP in the Golden State Warriors and Utah Jazz game. Sorry for the mistake in the graphic here, but it's Lauri Markkanen, 20 plus points, Jordan Clarkson, 15 plus points, and Lauri Markkanen, 6 plus rebounds. This one, you cannot get the same bet at ESPN Bet, so FanDuel has the best price. All right, with that, we go to Pips, the handicap for the first play here. Trae Young, under assist, but over on points.
So far this season, this is a third game for Trae Young against this same team. And even though Orlando Magic is a very good defense overall, they are the third or fourth worst pick and roll defense to ball handlers. Why is that? They are playing drop coverage and staying with bigs. Capella had 4 points in the last game, even though he played 30 plus minutes. They are the great spot up defense. That means also not helping on pick and rolls, helps them to stay with their players in the pick and rolls. So last 2 games, first game of the season, Trae Young, 41 points, 8 assists against Orlando Magic. Second game, overtime, 31 points, 9 assists. So not even close to getting over the assist, and covered the points easily in both with 41 and 31. As I said, they have good point of attack defenders, so they just decide, okay, let's get them in one-on-one defense, not helping in pick and rolls. Will allow a lot of pick and roll points, but players won't shoot efficient, and we are good as long as we are staying with everyone else on the court.
All right, so there's the handicap for the Trae Young first bet. Let's go to that second play here as the Bucks are taking on the Cavs. It's Donovan Mitchell, 30 plus points, Damian Lillard, 20 plus points, and let's hear the handicap behind this one.
We are doing almost the same thing, like every good pull-up shooter guard against the Bucks over, and it works so well over the entire season. And I'm going back to the Donovan Mitchell. These 2 teams played, I think, a couple of days before New Year, so like 3 weeks ago. Donovan Mitchell in that game had 34 points. He had wide open threes and wide open mid range the entire game. Only had 4 free throws, still scored 34 points. Yeah, I mean, they had that Damian Lillard defending Donovan Mitchell. I think that's you can get much better matchup for Donovan Mitchell. I don't think in entire season he was guarded by worse defensive player. And also one of the best pull-up shooters in the league, probably top 5 pull-up shooters is Donovan Mitchell. And now going against drop coverage, deep drop coverage, they didn't even try to adjust. They just played deep drop coverage with Lillard on him. He scored 34 points and Bucks won. So yeah, I don't think we'll see any changes in that one. Second part of this bet is Damian Lillard. Thing is, usually Cavs are great pick and roll defense, but they adjusted a lot to stop Giannis. So they were pulling back on a lot of these, and Lillard scored 31 points in that game. Even though he had foul trouble and played only 12 minutes in the first half, he still ended up scoring 31 in that game. The thing about Lillard, when they try to hedge him or blitz him, he is one of the best to split blitz or hedge and go for a layup or get to the line. Though that game he had a couple of easy layups and he had 11 free throws because when he splits it, he usually gets fouled or he is great at drawing fouls this season. Also, he started improving last season, but this season he just gets to the line a lot. And yeah, as I said, foul trouble last game, 31 points. I can see him easily getting to 25 tonight. So I'm going with 20. And like both of these guys together, I mean, yeah.
All right, good stuff on the second bet. Before we get into third bet, just shouting out a couple of viewers here. We have Badger Boy and Matt B in chat, some longtime viewers. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in each and every morning for the show. But that third play is in the Warriors game against the Jazz. The Jazz, we spoke about on yesterday's show, winners of 9 in the last 10. They have been on fire recently. Big reason why has been players like Larry Markkinen and also Jordan Clarkson. For this third bet, it's Markkinen 20-plus points and 6+ rebounds, as well as Jordan Clarkson, 15+ points, -118 at FanDuel. Why are we back in the Jazz once again, specifically these two players here?
Warriors defense is a complete mess, especially over the last 15 games. They are in company of Detroit Pistons, Hawks, Wizards, and Spurs. They are allowing almost the exact same amount of points as those 5 teams. Those are teams that are tanking and that are terrible. And yeah, I don't see the Golden State. They just lost to Memphis Grizzlies. Like Utah Jazz is a way better team than Memphis Grizzlies, and Lowry Markkinen especially. If this should be and it will be a high-paced game, Lowry Markkinen should crush this line because there is no one on this team that can guard Lowry. I don't see Wiggins being able to defend him. I don't see Kuminga being able to defend him. I don't see Sharp being able to defend him. So yeah, I need to take this line. Like Lauri Markkanen over this line, both of these line easily in 6 straight, even though some were blowouts. The spread is tight for this one. Golden State, I will say if they lose this one, probably will. After losing to Memphis, they are in a very tough spot. Like they need to win, and they lost to the win Memphis in a much needed win. Now, if there was this, I think huge alarms will sell there, be up in the Golden State team, and that means I think they will fight to stay in the game close, even though I think Utah can win this. So yeah, Lauri Markkinen over this in 6 straight against the Bucks, against the Nuggets, against the Raptors, against the Lakers. He is just being insane. The last game he didn't cover was huge blowout against the Celtics. He scored 17 in 23 minutes. He'll see 33, 34 minutes tonight and should be able to easily clear this. Rebounds, he's starting at 4 lately. They dropped going with Collins at 4 and Kessler at 5, or Collins at 4 and Kelly Olynyk at 5. They are a much lower now, and Lauri Markkanen had 9 or more rebounds in 6 straight games. So rebounds shouldn't be in question here. And we finally see lately Jordan Clarkson playing well. He also covered this line in 6 straight. When he gets the minutes against a team that is not top 10 in defensive rating, he is over this line in 14 out of the 15 games this season, even with Lauri Markkanen playing in. So huge numbers, and with this pace and poor defense, this should be easy for. I wouldn't be surprised if both of these are third quarter cash for tonight against these Golden State Warriors.
All right. Well, let's very much hope for that third quarter cash, a nice and easy sweat-free bet, because that's pretty much what we got yesterday with the one pick on the show. It was a smaller slate, but still Joel Embiid comes through with 41 points. We only needed 33. It was again pretty comfortable with this. Only had 14 first quarter points. Ended up getting over the line. I think it took him to the fourth quarter to get over the line here, but it was never really in doubt at any point in the game. So great closing line comes through for us with the great number here. Pips, do you want to explain the Joel Embiid matchup here and where we found such success? I mean, you texted me when after the game, Joel Embiid was free money. How come it looked like that during the game?
His motivation. I know some people were maybe surprised that I spoke about usage as almost only part of the analysis.
Yeah.
Uh, my process was he'll just be shooting too much for stay under this line, and he's still too good to stand under this line. Actually, Denver Nuggets defended him pretty well. Like they did a decent job. I would say they did above average job. They started with Jokic on him. He scored over him. They double teamed him on every time he tried to post up. Then they switched Aaron Gordon on him and played zone behind him. So Embiid will catch the ball at the nail and be one-on-one against Aaron Gordon. Denver played defense, zone defense behind him, just putting everyone to like, okay, we'll make Embiid shoot over us, not getting to the rim and not getting to the free throw line. Did a great job in the first half. Second half, finally, Embiid started just catching the ball in the movement out of the pick and roll and attacking. When he started getting to the line, it was easy game for Embiid. And yeah, it's actually very good game. I enjoyed this game a lot. Very talented teams, very good offense. Defense was way better in the second half than it was in the first half. We saw 78 first half, which is kind of amazing for the game. A bit run by
Yeah.
two bigs. You expected it to be, but yeah, both teams struggled in the first half with so many adjustments. Like you need to make huge adjustment to defend Embiid. All the other team need to make huge adjustment to defend Jokic, and they are not in their familiar defensive scheme or setting. So there were mistakes, and yeah, but second half was way better on defensive end. But overall, great game, and Joel Embiid just when he's this aggressive, he's pretty much unstoppable in the regular season games.
Yeah. So on the topic of this game, I thought it'd be a good thing just to discuss briefly here because obviously it was a match between two of the leading MVP candidates. Joel Embiid does get the better of Jokic, I suppose, in the game because the Sixers won the game. But as much as Joel Embiid was impressive with 41-10 or 41-7 and 10, Jokic was also very impressive. He had 25 points, 19 rebounds, 3 assists, shooting 11 of 20 here. Matchup wise, I think it's pretty interesting as more and more teams are starting to defend bigs like this by putting on a more nimble player, often forwards, but even like we've seen Drew Holiday defending Giannis in the past when you want to match up against a big here. But you have a more nimble, shifty player against the big, and then you have your big as more of a roaming sort of presence instead of actually being matched up one-on-one. This matchup kind of feels like a bit of a dream NBA Finals matchup because you get to see Embiid and Jokic go at it on a game-to-game basis here. But in particular, this matchup in general, if we were to see that longer series, who do you think would come out on top?
Currently, it's Denver. I think San Sixers lack one piece for them being competitive in 7 game series against Denver Nuggets. Yeah.
What do you think? So I'm assuming you mean like Tobias Harris. If you take him out and inject something else into the four, would that be the change that you'd need to see?
Tobias Harris was amazing last night, but if they can get this version of Tobias Harris like he played last night throughout
Yeah,
the entire playoff series, sure, yeah, but he usually disappears in the playoff. We saw it last season, we saw it season before, we saw it every season that Tobias Harris can have like 40 minutes, 4 point game in the playoffs, and that's for a third option that you lost the game. Like you can't win with third option scoring that low points. So yeah, I think Batum is crazy good addition for 76ers. He's amazing
yeah,
role player. He does so much. Uh, Yeah, Ubre is kind of decent for the bench, but that's it. And yeah, they could be buyers for something. Melton was out, which is also huge. I forgot about Melton. Yeah, he was out, and they still won the game, and he's a very important defensive player for them and shooter. So yeah, we will see less minutes for Beverly. And he was actually good last night.
Yeah, so I just put a poll in the chat. Anybody who wants to weigh in who would win a 7 game series. Also, please feel free to provide your comments in the chat. But I would also have to agree there. I also believe that like over the course of 6, 7 games in a series here, I can trust that Jokic will play well and really impact winning every single game. Like we have evidence of that playoff run last year and even playoff runs prior. Like even when the Nuggets struggle, like it's definitely not Jokic that's struggling out there. But on the Sixers side of things,
I will
I'm
also
just
say,
still
I will
go
also
ahead.
say, people had Embiid over Jokic on by far on defensive end. Last night, Jokic was better in defense than Embiid was. Like maybe
Jokic is
because
getting better
Embiid picked
there.
up. Yeah, Jokic was better on defense last night than Embiid was. Embiid
He's
was
improving.
god awful on defense.
I mean, they wouldn't have won a championship if they hadn't fixed his defense. The whole conversation, the whole year last year, was like, oh, you get in the playoffs, Jokic's defense, high pick and rolls, all that. He was fine in the playoffs, even in some tougher matchups, and obviously he rode that all the way to a championship and
Jokic is
a
not
Finals MVP. Sorry,
Jokic is not a great rim protector, but everything
no.
else he's good or average.
That's why you have guys, Aaron Gordon instead. That's why you got good defenders around. That's why you got to get the surrounding cast there. But on my prior point there, I've seen Jokic every game can impact winning. Embiid, I'm still just waiting for. I'm not fully convinced of the playoff prowess. Like too many times, like there was that Celtics game. It was Game 6 last year. The Sixers were on home court in Game 6 against the Celtics to progress beyond the second round, and Embiid like didn't even touch the ball for the last 5 minutes. If you're the best player, like you think Jokic is going 5 minutes without touching the ball, like if people aren't passing to you, you make them pass to you, or you just go get the ball, start to play with the ball in your hands. Like you're the best guy. Your team should be going down with you. Like I know James Harden is there, of course, and obviously James Harden's going to get the ball a bunch, but just the demeanor to actually go and win a playoff
Um,
series hasn't quite
I
been
have
there.
I have a lot to say on this one. First off, I actually said it on this show. First off, he had so many injuries. He was rare that he was
Right.
healthy in the playoffs. First, second, he played against terrible matchups every year. Like the East Coast has nightmare matchups for bigs. Like that's the thing. Like he played against the. I mean, everyone is laughing at old Al Horford stopping him. Al Horford is amazing defensive player. Like that's just out of the question. He had played against Nick Nurse, who did every fucking thing that stopped that would stop him.
Yeah.
And finally, when he was healthy, he was playing under Doc Rivers.
Yeah. Look,
I
this
would say
is
like
I
no
haven't.
excuses, but it was tough.
Everything can be take. Look, one playoff run takes away all of this entire conversation. But like I respect Embiid's game 100%. Nightmare to play against, even for a playoff series. But like, who am I taking? Jokic or Embiid in a whole playoff series? Everyone's taking Jokic. Are they not? So I think
Uh,
if you're not, I think you might be
yeah,
lying to
sure,
yourself.
sure, I agree. Put Embiid on Jokic team and put Jokic on Embiid team this season.
Sixers are better with Jokic. The Sixers, probably it actually exciting. Probably, I think the Sixers are better. The Nuggets probably similar. It's a good question. What do you think?
If you switch sides, I think Nuggets win the championship.
Oh, you're saying if Embiid was on the Nuggets instead of Jokic, you think the
Yeah,
Nuggets win
supporting
the
cast.
chip?
Jamal Murray, I'm unbelievable playoff performer. KCP, amazing 3 and D guy. Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, amazing defensive anchor. Uh, Michael Porter Jr., one of the best shooters in the league, and they had Bruce Brown last season, for example, off the bench, one of the
Oof.
best six men in the league. I mean, I will still have Denver Nuggets favored to win the championship with Embiid also there. Like,
Interesting.
I think Jokic is a better player right now, but Embiid is also pretty amazing player,
No, no,
and those are
agreed.
two of
Like
the best players in the league.
when you're
Yeah,
when you're
so.
talking about the top of the top, you're splitting hairs to try and pick out which one you prefer.
Yeah, sure. Like I agree. I agree that 76ers may be better with Jokic, but also maybe not because how their defense then looks like with Jokic in there. Like uh, Embiid
That's
was god
true.
awful last
They don't
night, but
have the
overall
they don't have
he's
that four. That's four who
yeah,
can get guard like one of the
yeah.
top players and protect him. That's true. That's true. Um, I guess in that case, the teams would be built a bit differently. But you know what? Maybe in the current state, I think I'd have to agree because of the defense. The Sixers would lose a little bit at the rim protection, as we mentioned. Want to give a quick shout out here to Sean Glenn, another longtime viewer, sending in the super chat to the stream. Thank you so much, Sean Glenn, for the additional support to the channel. We really appreciate it. And we have comments here by NBA Props 20. Welcome back to the show, saying that Denver supporting cast is overall better than Philly. So if you put Embiid over there, then it would make sense. But I also agree that the Bruce Brown, that sort of role should be something that's addressed around the deadline. I think the Sixers should also do a little bit of get some additional help, and I think they have the space to be able to do that. So we'll see. I mean, the Raptors all of a sudden might end up with Bruce Brown, and I mean, no real reason for Bruce Brown to be on the Raptors. So if Bruce Brown ends up in Toronto, chance to reroute him comes into play, and I think a lot of teams could use a player just like that one. But an interesting conversation nonetheless. Thank you everybody for your input. That will do it for the show today. Reminder to hit that like button if you are tailing any of the picks going out on the show today. 3 free picks for you guys. And if you're not subscribed yet, make sure you do get subscribed so that you check out all the content we have on the channel. Pick and roll live streams every weekday morning, as well as the extra Thursday show with myself and Kirk Evans. So here are the plays for today. First of all, in the Magic and Hawks game, it's Trae Young under 12.5 assists and 25 plus points. We got that minus 120 at DraftKings. ESPN Bet had better price on that if you have access to that book. In the Bucks and Cavaliers game, also better odds at ESPN Bet, but we're taking minus 120 odds at BetMGM to get Dame 20 plus points and Donovan Mitchell 30 plus points. Our final play of the day is in the Warriors and Jazz game. Best price was at FanDuel minus 118 to get Markkanen 20 plus points and 6 plus rebounds, as well as Jordan Clarkson 15 plus points. Again, that will do it for us today. Thanks so much for dropping in. Thanks so much for watching the show. Me and Pip be back here, same time, same place tomorrow for more from Pick and Roll.